All right. So last week, $1 Million Picks. The White Lotus himself, Mike White, took us out with the Bengals. It was brutal. Couldn't believe it as it was happening. Bengals blowing 11-point lead to the Jets.
Where did you watch it?
As it turns out,
it was Halloween. Were you watching on like a couch or were you out trick-or-treating? Like what was it?
I was watching with my friend Hershey. and it was miserable. As it turns out, we would have lost the tees anyway because the Bucks ended up blowing it to the Saints. Valuable lesson last week. I couldn't find the tees last week. I felt like we force-fed it. And, sometimes, look, if the bet's not there, it's almost like if the receiver's not open, don't throw it in double coverage. I felt like we forced it into double coverage last week, but we did hit our first underdog parlay, which FanDuel boosted up to plus 800.
Okay.
Steelers,
Patriots,
and FanDuel, they lost $2.5 million.
No.
They did. That's what they told me. They said I could mention that on the pod. We cost FanDuel $2.5 million. I don't know why they
smile or they like we're out of business.
Well, they're doing it again. No, they're like, look, we love it. We love the action. This is what we want. So we have another one coming that we're going to boost. I'll give you a hint. It involves two teams that I don't like, but we're throwing them in anyway. All right. We're going to rip through some of these games fast.
Can I just tell you about this Jets game real quick? They're up 11 with 4 minutes left. I'm on a plane, and I'm sitting next to the most interesting man I've ever met in my life. This guy is, I'll say his name. He's Tory Burch's ex-husband, and we just get seated next to each other, and he's like an investor, and he's talking about all his different brands, and I'm captivated by this man and his conversation with it. And yet I'm watching like out of the side of my eye, and I'm like, dude, you got to stop talking. I got to watch how this goes. And Mike White just broke our heart. And like
the White Lotus.
And he's like, well, what's going on? I'm like, no, you got to understand the story here. This is an incredible story. And I think Bill Simmons just lost $700,000 of fake money. I think that just happened. He's like, yeah.
Yeah, well, and almost $700,000 of real money too. Well, Mike's playing today. We'll find out if he turns into a pumpkin against the Colts or not. I thought he looked for real. I didn't think it was a fluke. I thought he was really, really impressive.
They won that game outright.
So yeah, we'll see if it stands. Teasers, parlays. There are some ones I like this week, including Dallas 9.5 to Denver. This Denver team is so flimsy. They just don't have the horses anymore. And the Von Miller trade to me is like, we know we're not good. Here, oh really? We can get a second and third for a guy who's leaving at the end of the year. Let's grab that. And
what's that tell the rest of the team, right? Is that a great sign for a team? Like
they know they don't have the quarterback. Like for the X number of years, they've screwed up the quarterback spot, and Teddy's fine.
Fine.
There should be a word for the person who's too good to be a backup, but not quite good enough to be your playoff starter.
That's a good club.
It's like he's basically a tweener, right?
Yeah.
I feel like Nick Foles is like that. Somehow Nick Foles beat Tyrod Taylor's like that. There's a few of them. So I just like Dallas to win or in a tease, 9.5. I believe in that Dallas team. They're healthy. Lock that one in. We have Buffalo, which the line's too high to tease, but we have them as minus 1,000 that we can throw them in a parlay to juice the odds a little bit.
They'll beat Jacksonville.
We have the Rams minus 7.5, minus 360 with the Titans.
I love the Rams in that game.
Well, it's interesting. Even if Henry was playing, I would still like the Rams because all the eye test plus the actual stats tell us that you can throw in the Titans until the cows come home. And I think they're going to really, really open it up against them. The one thing that worries me, I got to be honest, is the team that has to completely change their identity.
Who's that?
The Titans, where it's just like you're playing this team that is now, they basically just came out of the phone booth and there's somebody else. They're probably worse, but they're going to be trying and doing a lot of different things. And I think that's hard to prepare for. Makes me a tiny bit nervous.
It's a great test so it's Vrabel, obviously, but they've got two first-year coordinators and Shane Bowen on defense, but then I think Todd Downing is the offensive coordinator. It's like, okay, you built this offense around Henry, and on the fly, you need to now say, because they've been talking the talk when they went and got Julio, and they got, obviously, they built this off. We've got this passing offense. We got Tannehill, all this stuff. Well, okay, now let's see it. And they got to go do it.
So the fourth team I have in there for the teaser parlay thing is the Pats against Carolina, minus 190. minus 3.5. And if you wanted to get a little ambitious, You do money line parlay, Dallas, New England, and Buffalo.
Okay.
Plus 107. All of them have to win. We're using Dallas and we're using Buffalo to bring that Pats line down. So we're basically betting on the Pats and assuming the other two are going to hit. You also could do a Dallas with New England, bring them down to minus 2.5. So there's juice on that with the Dallas money line. Pats have to win by 3. Dallas just has to win. That's plus 103. We could do a Dallas, Rams, Pats, 3 of them together money line. Or Rams, Cowboys, Patriots, 7-point tees. You bring the Pats to plus 3.5.
Okay. I like this.
You bring
better.
Dallas to minus 2.5, and you bring the Rams to a 0.5 point. And that is plus 140, Peter Schrager. I figured that was the one you were going to like.
That's the one. That's the one. I'm not, I can't guarantee that the Patriots are going to win this game, but I know the Patriots aren't getting blown out in this game. So let's go with that one. Let's do that last one. I like the
So the fear
there.
with the Pats is McCaffrey.
Yeah, this guy's awesome. And we haven't seen him yet. And he practiced this week and he can come out there. And last year, he missed a ton of games, goes into Kansas City for basically one game and goes for like 180 and just terrorizes the Chiefs defense. And if Joey Sly makes a field goal at the end, the Panthers beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead last year.
I lost money on that game.
Did you?
Joey Sly. Every time I see Joey Sly, I just see
that game?
Money shooting out of my TV. So the other option we have is we can knock the Pats out of that completely. And we could just do Dallas.
You already have enough
Rams.
riding on the Patriots, long term, everything. Don't put too much pressure on this week.
We're betting on the Patriots. don't you think we're not betting?
All right.
So we could do a Dallas Rams 2-leg teaser, which is minus 150 on FanDuel if we do the plus 7. So we'd take Dallas to minus 2.5 and take the Rams to 0, but we'd have to lay some big 150 to win 100.
Can we put the Bills in there or no?
Can't put the Bills in there because you're bringing them down to like 7.5. We're still
like we always say.
Out.
Warren Sharp is cringing at this conversation. Asking that question. Yes.
Well, my thought is, I like the Pats. I think the Pats are going to beat the Panthers.
Okay.
I believe in the Pats.
Okay.
So if we lose money on that, so be it. And I think it's a way to bring in the Rams and the Cowboys, who I think will both win.
Let's do it.
Plus 140.
Okay.
Are people going to accuse you of being my lapdog here?
It's fine. I'm in. Look, I'm saying.
Are you're worried about injured Sam Darnold and PJ Walker against Belichick?
I'm injured about Christian McCaffrey going bananas and us being like, of course that happened. We knew that was going to happen. That's
Christian McCaffrey, the Mike Trout of the NFL.
That's what we said.
Of the 72 and 90 Angels every year. Let's give him another MVP. Straight up bets. I love the Bengals this week. I can't believe I want to go back to the well, but it's minus 2.5 against the Browns. Baker, I thought looked like shit last week, and I can't believe they're playing him. I would play Keenum. I think that's nuts. Odell's now out.
Mm-hmm.
Landry's playing injured. Chubb doesn't seem healthy to me. They just lost Jack Conklin, their right tackle.
Yep.
Good QBs against the Browns. Mahomes put up 33. Herbert put up 47. Murray put up 37. And now this is the fourth good QB they're going against if you think Joe Burrow's a good QB, which I do. Their offensive line got massacred last week. There might be reasons for that. The Jets, one thing they do, they have a really big physical defensive line and they can push. I don't see that happen to the Bengals 2 weeks ago. I love that this is under 3. I really like the Bengals. What do you think?
Let's go Bengals. I'm with you. The Browns, Stefanski won Coach of the Year last year and it was this great story. This is where you make your bucks as a coach. This is where you earn it. And it's like, if they win this week, if they beat the Bengals, great. Like, let's go. The season's alive. If they lose, we're right back to the typical Browns. And it's the same conversations we've had for years. I feel like there's a lot of pressure on Baker. And I think the Odell thing, if anything, it is a distraction and he hasn't really been one, but like the LeBron tweet, his dad, the whole not coming to practice, like no one wants to deal with that shit right now. And I feel like it's at the worst time of the year they are dealing with it. I think it's a good time, especially with the Bengals, everyone kind of getting off the bandwagon. Let's see what they're about. I'll go with the Bengals.
Yeah, because I think a week ago, this line is Bengals by 4.
Agreed. Everyone lost. Everyone's done with it. It's like, you feel like, ugh, that's why they're the Bengals. They lost to the Jets and I'm out of my survivor pool because of it,
But you think like classic trap game. It was their third road game in a row, the Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
They had come off this emotional Ravens win. Now they're back in Jersey. It sucks to be in Jersey playing a crappy team. You just want to get through without anyone getting hurt. All of a sudden you're losing. And they knew the Browns were coming this week. So it's just, I think I don't think the Bengals are as bad as they were last week. And I'm not sold on the Browns at all. The interesting thing with the Browns, they lose this game. They got the Pats in week 10. Then they could be 4-6.
Yeah, I know.
With a quarterback who's got one arm. Anyway, I like the Bengals.
Let's go.
I want to start doing 3 picks for the straight ups. Second one, you're not talking me out of this. Chargers -1.5 against the Eagles. Phillies 3 wins, Atlanta by 22, Carolina by 3, Detroit by 38. Congratulations. They lost to San Francisco, Dallas, Kansas City, Tampa, and Vegas. Chargers 3 losses, Dallas by 3, got killed by Baltimore, Pats by 3. They played the 5th hardest schedule so far by DVOA, and that includes the Pats, who are kind of underrated since they're better in week 8 than they were in week 1. The DVOA for the teams are pretty similar, but I just think the Chargers have more talent. And the one way to beat them is to run the ball down their throat. Is Boston Scott and Jordan Howard going to cost me money in this game? And also, are the Chargers really just going to keep losing? They have too much talent. I don't see it.
The only thing I would say on this, and I would be nervous because last week we took the Lions to beat the Eagles. I watched that game. I watched the entire game. It was on my flight. I was like, I'm watching this and the Jet game, and they're both killing me because we bet against them. Their offensive and defensive lines absolutely manhandled Detroit's. Now, you say, okay, but that's Detroit. Chargers have the worst run defense in the entire league. And if you're talking about a really good offensive line in Philly, and I know it is Jordan Howard and Boston Scott and Kenny Gainwell, and you're not losing sleep on those names, but the Eagles are strangely alive. They're 3-5, and they didn't trade off Fletcher Cox, and they didn't trade off Lane Johnson, and they didn't trade off a lot of these guys that everyone thought might be on the trading block. I don't know. I would almost say if we could stay away from this, I would. Chargers suddenly after 2 losses, what gives you any feeling that they're going to finally find themselves against the Eagles?
Here's Philly, week 2. Lose San Francisco. Week 3, killed by Dallas. Week 4, lose to the Chiefs. They beat Carolina in week 5 in a game. No McCaffrey.
They were down 10. They find a way. Yeah.
Lose to Tampa, which they were getting killed. Yes. Came back late. Garbage time stuff.
Garbage touchdowns. Yes.
Vegas, same thing. Way behind garbage time stuff.
You're right.
And then they kill the Lions, who are the worst team in the league.
Who everyone kills. Yeah.
And we stupidly were like, oh, this will be the week the Lions get one. I'm not proud of it. I mean, we did underdog. Did we do underdog parlay or straight
underdog.
Up? We did underdog. Yeah. We took a flyer on them.
Yeah.
I think the talent difference, Philly's still playing, $35 million under the cap?
Yeah.
Or with dead cap weight and all that stuff?
Yes.
I just think the Chargers are, if you just look at the 2 teams.
Of course.
How are they not favored by 3? I'm getting 1.5 points of free stuff here just because the Eagles killed the Lions? I'm including them.
You've done a sound job convincing me. I will roll with you. Let's go with the Chargers.
Jordan Howard and Boston Scott. By the way, it's now Chargers -2. So so there's been some action on the Chargers as I'm looking at that. Cardinals, Niners.
All right, let's talk about it. Which way do you like that?
I think it's a stay away, but Niners -2. I feel like I'm getting a free point. I don't know if there's a difference between these 2 teams. And the way I like to look at week 8, week 9, week 10 is, am I getting free stuff? Are people, did people tilt too far one way or the other? This line should be -3 and it's -2. What do you think?
Kyler is the X factor, and we're doing this on Thursday.
Missed practice today.
He hasn't practiced, but I think he plays. If I know Cliff
so stay away. So we stay away.
I think Kyler's going to play, and I don't think Colt McCoy will be under center.
Last possible.
That doesn't go from them. That goes from Kyler being Mr. Warrior. I'm going to go. That's the deal.
Giants +3.5 against the Raiders, who just had this horrible Ruggs thing happen.
Terrible.
156 miles an hour, and he's drunk, and he's got guns in the car, and he's got a passenger. What the fuck are you doing? Terrible, terrible story. They waive him. He was really important to their passing game, and this team is just taking hits left and right. And at some point, it's weird that the line isn't reflecting that much. The Giants, they're 2-6. two really stupid losses. Right?
Yeah,
they jump off sides on the field goal in week 2.
Washington.
And last week they're about to beat the Chiefs and they screwed up.
Well, they get the pick and then they go off sides again on that. And then there was no one even talked about the taunting penalty by Eli Penny, who he's doing this and it's like a 15-yard penalty. It's just, Giants gave that game to the Chiefs, but Saquon now is on the COVID list. There's other injuries all over the place. The Giants are flat. And it's, again, I always fear this with the Giants. They go into a cold, empty MetLife Stadium where it's gray and stale and it's a bunch of 70-year-old fans just being angry that they're sitting in the cold. If the Raiders come out early, screw it. Let's go with the Giants.
Wait, you just 180'd me. I was crossing them off.
I know. And then I'm like, I said that last time.
By the way, how about just stay away? We can just stay away.
The last time I did that spiel about I could see the Boo Birds coming, they went and they blew out Carolina. So you don't know what this Giants team. And
my question is, are the Giants the good bad team?
I think that's giving them too much credit. But yeah,
who's the good bad team if it's not the Giants? You could say Philly's the Seattle good against a really bad team. But who's the team that beats up the other bad teams but can't hang as soon as the level?
That's Denver. They're 4-4.
Oh yeah, you're right. Denver's a good. You're right.
They beat all the bad teams. They stink against good ones.
Well, our other option is we could just bet the Rams because I really wanted to get to 3 straight up picks, but the Rams are.
What are they now?
They are -7. So we could just lay the touchdown against Tannehill and those guys. I do worry about the cheap touchdown potential at the end of the game, and I also worry about the Rams' inability to run the ball when they have a lead in the fourth quarter. That's why I think it's a stay away.
It's a real concern. I would stay away from that 7. That's a lot.
It's funny. I like the underdogs. I like some of the underdog bets.
If we had done that last week.
Here's the other one I was looking at.
Yeah.
Maybe we do this. We grab the points here. Packers +7.5. Let me make the case.
Hey,
Kyle, turn the camera on.
Turn the camera on.
Packers +7.5. Little Ewing theory with Aaron Rodgers, even though he's ineligible because he won the Super Bowl. But maybe there's a 10-year, after 10 years, you become eligible for the Ewing theory. Little fuck you from the team.
Hey,
this fucking guy, huge diva the whole offseason, made it seem like we weren't good enough for him, was a dick to Jordan Love, wanted to be a Jeopardy host. Now he was mouth breathing all over us and he wasn't even vaccinated. Inviting us to his Halloween party, not vaccinated, puts our season in danger by getting COVID, puts himself in danger. And now he's out 2 weeks. Like this guy doesn't, you know what? Let's shove it in his face. We're going to fucking win this for Jordan Love.
All right. I don't see it that way, but let me swing it a different fuck you way. Let me go a different route with it.
Oh, a second fuck you path.
Let me tell you this path. Matt LaFleur has the best record through 40 games of any NFL head coach since the Super Bowl era began. And all anyone says is, well, it's because he's got Rodgers.
Right.
It's because he's got Rodgers.
He's nothing without Rodgers.
They won last week without Devontae Adams. F you. They come into this week, they go into Arrowhead and they say, you know what? We're going to screen you to death. We're going to hit Aaron Jones 100 times, a little 5-yard. Jordan Love, we're going to a little sneak peek at the future. It's a freebie for us. We got nothing to lose. Not only are we going to cover this game, we're going to walk out of Arrowhead with our heads held high because we, the Packers, without Aaron Rodgers, behind our great coach, are going to get the job done. Let's go.
This is a good one. Kyle, did the camera overheat? Packers +7.5. We get an extra half point.
I mean,
we could get the cheap touchdown at the end. By the way, I watched Jordan Love in the preseason.
He looked good.
He's pretty good.
And guess what? I've watched a lot of Chiefs. We had to bet on them every single week. It'd be nice to bet against them one week and not have the pressure of rooting for them.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything I like from the Chiefs. Like literally anything. I can't believe how bad Mahomes looks. I can't remember. What's the best Mahomes theory you've heard? Just like, is he like dealing with some stuff off the field? Like, what is he hurt?
No, the theory is that there's now this way to beat them ever since Tampa employed these two safeties.
With the 2 deep safeties.
And the 25 yards coming, and Mahomes is just impatient, like does not want to win that way. And
but that doesn't account for how bad some of his throws have been.
And so imprudent they've been. And it's like the elephant in the room. I don't think it matters. And, people want to talk about like advertisements but he did that all last year. Like he was all over ads last year, and his brother was TikTok dancing last year. And the ones I look at though in this are like, hey, Eric Bieniemy, Andy Reid, Travis Kelce, like let's all step our games up a little bit, because it seems like the team came out flat on Monday night. And that was inexcusable also. They win that game, but gosh, it's hard to wrap your arms around these Chiefs.
Green Bay, 14th in DVOA, 4th offense, 22 on defense.
I'm not looking at this as the Rodgers FU. I'm looking at this as the LaFleur FU.
It's beautiful. We're taking them. All right, when we come back, we'll do Underdog Parlay, and then we'll do our $1 million picks. All right, Underdog Parlay of the week. Our nominees are the Vikings plus 215 against the Ravens, the Falcons plus 205 against the Saints, the Bears plus 215 on Monday night against the Steelers, and then the Packers plus 265, but we already took them. Falcons Vikings right now is plus 861.
Okay.
And on FanDuel, I'm going to call the boost right now. I'm going to say we're going to boost that up to 10-1. Now, on Saturday, they'll give the official thing, but for us, we'll say that's the Underdog Parlay of the Week boost presented by FanDuel Sportsbook, and we're giving ourselves 10-1 odds, and we're going to grab it. Falcons, Vikings. Here's the case. Vikings. Everyone's done with them. They suck. Fuck those guys. Vikings fans, including my buddy Jeff. We're out.
What's up, Jeff?
I hate this team. I hate Kirk Cousins. Zimmer's going to get fired. I'm out. Total embarrassment. This is kind of when the Vikings thrive.
That's what they do.
When people are just dumping porta-johns on them and complaining about them, and this is kind of what they do. The Ravens, Bill Barnwell had some good stuff in his column this week about them. Worst tackling team in the league.
Mm-hmm.
We have all the tackling stats. They're allowing 7.5 yak yards after catch. They can't tackle. Well, what do the Vikings have? Guys who can break tackles and run after the catch. Isn't that Thielen and Justin Jefferson and Dalvin Cook? Like, that's what those guys do. So I like the matchup for them. And the Ravens are kind of due for a shit game. They haven't had one in a while, right? Just like
they did.
What happened game?
The Bengals kicked the shit out of them 2 weeks ago.
No, but I'm saying the game against like the team that's like they were heavily favored. Like the fact that this line is in 7.5 tells me something. But I like the thought of the Vikings beating the Ravens. I don't know if it'll happen, but I think they're a strong underdog.
We have bet on the Vikings several times this season. It has been a thrill ride. We did the Arizona game. We were lucked out. We bet for them in the Detroit game in a crazy way, and they lucked out in a teaser. You know this game is coming down to either Justin Tucker or Greg Joseph. And I say, Bill, it's Greg Joseph's day. Kicker, Greg
It's the
Joseph.
bird and magic of great field goal kickers.
This is it. Greg Joseph has been our nemesis. He is going to win us the day. I'm in. Let's go Vikings.
And then Falcons Saints. I don't even need to make the case. Taysom Hill,
30
30-year-old Taysom Hill, somehow laying 6 points to this Atlanta team that is 3-4, is frustrating as hell, but they've been able to move the ball against basically everybody. They have Matt Ryan. I get it. You don't want to ever have money on Matt Ryan, but you know what? I like Matt Ryan when he's getting a lot of points. Mm-hmm. You just don't want Matt Ryan laying points ever under any situation. You want to put Matt Ryan in a tease. Where you want him is like getting 6 to 10 points against a seemingly better team. And in the Saints case, a team that just played in a bunch of big games in a row. Now they're like, all right, Superdome. Yeah. Finally, we get to reset against a shit team. You let up a little bit. And, the stuff that the Saints are good at, the run defense is great, right? The Falcons have a shit run game. Yeah, they do a lot of like weird misdirection stuff with Patterson.
Yeah.
I think this is a very winnable game for the Falcons. What do you think?
I do too. And I think they have a history of fighting the Saints really tough when the Saints are significantly better year in, year out in a lot of these seasons. I would also add that last week was the Super Bowl for the Saints. It was in the Superdome. Tampa comes in. We're going to revenge that loss last year in the playoffs. Jameis is going to get his. Jameis goes down, and like they were so good last week. And it was Trevor Siemian and Kevin White and Alex Arma Jr. And like they were getting great production from these guys that are we now dipping back into that bag and saying, all right, it's going to be Taysom Hill and Alex Arma Jr. And like, I could see a serious letdown. And Sean Payton's a good coach. I just think that this Falcons are playing for their season. Saints kind of had their biggest game of the season. It's hard to play like that 2 weeks in a row. I could see the Falcons sneaking up on them this week.
Me as well. So Falcons Vikings, we're going to boost that to 10-1. We'll be doing that one. And then I'm just throwing this out. The Bears are plus 215 against Roethlisberger. I don't love the Bears, which is why I think it's a stay away. I do feel like, though, with Roethlisberger, with the fact that they basically score 12 to 19 points a week.
Yeah.
And now you throw in like the one pick six, the one punt return. Anytime they're laying points, I think they just have to be seriously discussed as how do you go against them in underdog parlay. I don't like the Bears coaching. I'm just confused.
32nd in the league in offense. It's hard to say.
And they've had some injuries, so it's a stay away. I was looking. There was a Bears-Packers parlay that was plus 1050. You bet 100, you win 1,050 if those two hit. But we'll stay away. We'll just do Falcons.
Steelers defense is really good. Bears offense is really bad.
All right, $1 million picks, week 9. Last week, we lost the most money that you and I have lost together since we started doing this, $639,000.
It hurt.
Courtesy of the White Lotus himself, Mike White.
He did it. No shame. It happens.
The good news, we're still up $924,000 for the season. We've also coming off a winning underdog parlay.
Yeah.
And I think we've hit 3.
Yeah. And
we've been lights out.
We talked last week about betting $3 million on the Bengals, and we stayed away. So I feel like that was house money.
That was you. That was you. You were the wise one on that one because I was ready to do it. Thank God that didn't happen. Okay. First bet, week 9. Rams. Teasing them down from 7 to 0. 7-point tease. Teasing the Cowboys from 9.5 to 2.5. Teasing the Patriots from 3.5 to plus 3.5 against Carolina. Rams, Cowboys, Pats, 7-point, 3-team tease, plus 140. We're going to put $500K on that.
Okay, that's good. It's prudent. I like it.
If that hits, we win $700K. Dallas wins by 3.
Yep.
Rams win. Pats either lose by a field goal, win, whatever. Straight up, we're doing 3 bets for $200K. Bengals, minus 2.5 over the Browns. That is minus 106, by the way. So we're only risking 212 to win 200. Chargers, minus 1.5 against the Eagles. You were a little worried about this. I don't believe in the Eagles. You also talked me out of Seattle against Jacksonville last week. I think you get a little squeamish sometimes with the bad teams. Bad teams are bad teams for a reason.
I just have watched a
Herbert breakout game, Staley kitchen sink game.
Okay.
Come on. Come on.
All right. I'm in.
Last one, Packers, plus 7.5.
Let's go.
I called it the Jordan Love fuck you game. You called it the Matt LaFleur fuck you game.
Let's go.
There's a lot of fuck yous flying around. Packers, plus 7.5 to cover against the Chiefs. And then we're going to do, as our underdog parlay of the week, coming off a big win, FanDuel is going to boost this up to 10-1.
Sorry, FanDuel.
Sorry, FanDuel. Falcons win. Vikings win. If both of those things happen, 10-1. We were putting $33,000 on that. We win $330 if that wins. Last week we cost FanDuel $2.5 million with the underdog parlay of the week. Hoping to repeat it as much as we love FanDuel. It's all out of love, FanDuel. FanDuel, we're driving action your way. Fun. Sometimes we know what we're doing with this stuff. Any last predictions for week 9?
No, let's have a great weekend. Let's get back on the plus side of this. It was a tough week for me. I licked my wounds. I'm ready to go, dude.
Before we go, check out in the Good Morning Football Twitter account, Stroller Guy submarining you and Kyle Brandt on the streets of New York is hilarious. They're doing this bit on the sidewalk. It's a 2-minute bit. And right near the end, some dude just walks through classic New York with a stroller. Talking about fuck you.
Does not give a shit. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. I wouldn't care either. It just comes right through the shot. It was very clear there was a TV filming going on. Guy comes in with a stroller. His kid was probably named Jagger or Xander or like Wildflower.
Right.
And he just comes right through. Does not care. He had places to go. So did the kid.
All right. We can see you on Fox this weekend as well. Peter Schrager, a pleasure as always.
Love it, Bill. Thank you.